Why do we voluntarily watch things that are making us yell at the television?
I don't know. I mean, when I was in, did you do theater all the way, like, when you were a kid? Like, how did you start doing theater?
I started doing theater by seeing an improv show. I was not a performer. I was never a performer. I never wanted to be... I never wanted any attention. I still don't want to be the center of attention. I didn't. I wasn't a theater person. I just happened to see... I saw an improv show in New York because I knew... I used to watch the UCB sketch show in high school. I used to watch it. So I was visiting New York. I was visiting home and going to New York City for vacation. I was like, oh, I'll go to their theater. They have a theater in New York. And I saw an improv show. It was the first improv show I saw ever. And literally, when the show was over, the lights came up, and I turned to the person I was with, and the words, "I have to do this," came out of my mouth. And I found classes and started doing it, and then kind of jumped in with both feet and got real serious about it. Real serious about the fact that it was theater, in addition to being a specific kind of theater and comedy. And I didn't start out as a performer at all, which is, it's so strange to me. Every time I'm doing a corporate show or in rehearsal, like once in a while, I just kind of pause and think to myself, I have a degree in computer science. I went to school, learned about computers. And now I spend all of my time playing make-believe or teaching people to play make-believe.
That's okay. A lot of computer science people do that too, but in a different way.
Yeah, that's true. It's interesting because I think it's always been in my blood to a certain extent. My mother's side of the family are all very artistic and they're either musicians, or a lot of them are musicians, and music teachers, and then I have some cousins and great aunts who are television producers in Canada, and so apparently that side of the family, that's the artistic, crazy side, I guess. My sister has a degree in musical theater and now teaches theater to middle school and high school kids.
Fun.
So we both ended up doing this silly make-em-ups.
It was on your mom's side of the family. You're not your dad's. How does your dad feel about it?
He's fine. I mean, he's just, as long as I'm, as long as I'm happy and able to live, he's pretty fine with it.
That's a good dad.
Mainly because he was kind of the misfit of his family in a way, because his father was. His father was an Islamic lawyer and a professor of Islamic law. Worked in the UN. Was a Supreme Court justice in Qatar. So super educated.
Yeah.
And my dad is educated as well. He went to school, but then he decided that because he's always liked cars, he was like, I just want to open my own mechanic shop. So he got his MBA and opened his own mechanic shop, much to the chagrin, I think, of his father. So my dad doesn't care. He's like, cool, whatever you're doing sounds great. Sounds like
you're still having fun working on cars?
He's retired for the second or third time. He sold his shop and then moved away from New York, and then got really bored and got a job. Got bored of that, and then started teaching. Was teaching, automotive repair for 10 years, and then finally retired again. But still has he extended his garage, so he has a 4-car garage with a lift, so he could continue to work on. So he's always working on a project. He's always working on something. So yes, he's pretty much every time I talk to him, it's like, what car did you sell so that you could buy some other thing?
Another project card.
Another project card.
Yeah, so when you call your house to talk to your parents, your mother's like, well, your father's in the garage.
I just hear the air hammer in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds like he's having fun.
Yeah, that's the way it works. It's good, though.
That's great.
So I kind of stumbled into theater accidentally. Feeling that I definitely had an urge to find some creative outlet that was definitely in me, and I just didn't know what it was or what it was going to be. And then I saw an improv show, and it ruined my life.
So how many years have you been doing it now?
A little over 12. Started classes in January of 2005, and been performing pretty regularly ever since. My troupe has had a weekly show for 10.5 years. Is that right? Yeah, I think we've had a weekly show for 10.5 years. We just passed our 11th anniversary, I think. Man, I don't know. Time. Yeah.
No one's killed each other yet in the troupe, so that's
No. Two of them got married, so I guess that's
there's that.
that's enough punishment for them.
But they still like each other.
Or they're good actors. One of two. No, it's no. We're great. We've known each other. We've all known each other a very long time, and we've been through everything together.
Yeah.
We used to have 6 members of the troupe, but after about 6 months, one dropped out, and 7 or 8 months later, another dropped out, and then it's been the 4 of us for 10 years or so, and we've just we keep setting goals and keep reaching them and travel all over, and yeah, they're my brothers and my sisters.
Yeah, I think that's the only people I've known for 10 plus years as family at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we are our chosen family to each other, and I definitely don't take it for granted. And there's always that, someone once in a while is like, oh, what if you break up? I'm like, well, then we had 11 years of awesome. What do you mean? What do you mean? What if the world ends? I don't understand the question. What do you mean? I'll survive. We'll do what we do. What do you mean? Like when I have a tattoo, the troupe logo on my arm that I got after 5 years, and not everyone, but a few people were like, oh, you're gonna break up now. They're like, A, you're dick. B, I'm sorry you don't have anything that you care enough about to permanently put on your arm.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, this is just my personality and the way I've learned to think about things now. It's like, this isn't a statement of permanence. It was a celebration of what we'd already done.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, we've already had 5 years of cool shit. So, can I say shit? I said shit.
Yeah,
I said fuck earlier.
Did you?
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's totally fine. I just click explicit content on all the things. It's fine. We're adults. You can't stop
I
it.
should have a label like that on my arm.
Explicit content. New tattoo.
New tattoo. Yeah. Oh God. That'll be like the lamest 18-year-old drunk on 6th Street tattoo.
That's okay. Well, then wait till you're 50, and then it'll come
Yeah,
right back.
That's right.
It'll be like, it's his midlife crisis.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Some people get cars. He got explicit content on his arm. Yes, you can say whatever you want.
Great.
Yeah, and I feel like people, especially in my opinion, and again, clearly the theme of what I'm saying is like 20-year-olds. Am I right? But sometimes I feel like people who haven't been doing theater for a long time or haven't been working on a project where it's like, yeah, I've had ebbs and flows of things working, and then they don't work, and then I'm working on a project, and then it's like you just keep moving. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be like, let everything tear me down.
Right.
And it's a little different than like dating or something like that. So it's like,
but it is a relationship that has to be acknowledged and dealt with, and
groomed and tended for sure.
Yeah. But and I've thought about this. The troupe, P-Graph, none of us could ever have this troupe again. And the reason is we all met each other when we were at the same stage of improv development. We were all relatively new, even though Casey and Val have been doing it longer, for a few years longer than Roy and I had, but I think not in the same kind of like concentrated, dedicated way that we all threw ourselves into once we formed. So now we've got 12 to 15 years of experience, each of us. So we've formed opinions. We think we know how it works. You know, like when we formed, we were fumbling. It was a source of stress at first too, because we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know why we weren't good. We didn't know what good meant. But we fumbled through and figured it out together. Which built our individual and our group sort of improv vocabulary and just concept of how to approach the work. So this troupe is basically this troupe is it for me. Even if we broke up as soon as this recording was over and I went and formed a new troupe and we were together for 20 years, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same thing. It wouldn't be the same experience,
Oh no, I mean, no.
Yeah.
Every experience is different.
Yeah. Right.
Every different kind of vibe between people is makes it its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Yeah, it's this troupe. We met at a time where we all just decided to throw ourselves into it in a very concentrated way and spend all of our vacation time when we had real jobs that we were accountable to others for. All of our vacation time going to festivals and traveling and performing as much as we could, and just made it a priority for better or for worse.
And now you are all working for the theater.
In one way or another, yeah. Roy and I are two of the owners. Valerie teaches and directs. Casey teaches and directs shows a lot. We all do the Big Bash, which is our weekly show that actually pays the performers.
Great.
I know. We all do. We'd all do corporate gigs, and so we all do stuff for the theater. In addition to, as P-Graph, going off and traveling and teaching and performing and doing what we love. It's pretty great.
And you and Roy are the only two that are sort of full time in
from P-Graph. We're the only
right,
two
because
that
Val
are,
runs the ice cream parlor.
Valerie owns and manages Sweet Ritual and has for, I think they just hit 5 years.
Yeah.
Casey's also an employee of the Hideout. She's our designer, so she does all of our graphic and set design. But she does 5 different things in her life.
Yeah.
So she's all over the place. But she is mostly makes her living from the Hideout.
Yeah. It's nice that you guys can all dedicate that time to it, so that now you can travel and do stuff, and it's sort of like career building as opposed to before, when it was like, let's take a vacation, see if I can get PTO days to go.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is when we were on the road, when we've gone to festivals and when we've done brief little tours, we always approached it very seriously. So even though it was fun that we got to do it, but we were always like, head down, we got to make contacts and meet people, and mainly it was traveling places and telling them how awesome the improv scene in Austin was. Come visit Austin was kind of our mantra, which has happened a lot. I really think just from the amount that P-Graph has traveled, we've gotten so many people to visit Austin and come to Out of Bounds and come take intensives and stuff like that, because I think for a long time, especially when we first started traveling, we'd tell people we were from Austin, and they'd be like, "Austin, you have roads?" Yeah, we're a city with an improv scene, guys. I know we're not New York or Chicago, but come on, give me a break.
Yeah, people still say that to me when I say I live there, I live here. Because they're like, "Oh, so do you guys ride horses?" And I was like, "Guys, listen.
Like, none of us ride horses. Okay, there's that one guy who's downtown, all right?
A few cops.
Okay,
all right.
And there's cops on horses, and I have ridden horses. But you know what? Forget it.
I'm going
to take my chili and go home.
Hard to argue.
Take my chili. This barbecue sauce is mine.
Forget it. I'm out of here.
When I visited Japan, everyone asked if we rode horses, if we had guns, etc.
Yeah, and you had to say yes. That's all true.
That's what I guess. I have done that. I've done all of that. Yes. What do you want from me, people? I'm a stereotype.
Yeah.
All the John Wayne movies are true.
People love Texas. I mean, outside of the United States, for a long time, they viewed the United States as Texas, especially in like Britain. It was just like Texas was the most iconic. Even when they thought of things like California and Hollywood, it was their depiction of Western life. It's very interesting. So yes, stereotypes abound.
That's good.
So you're from New York State, city?
I grew up on Long Island, New York, the archetypal suburb. A wonderful place to have been.
Long Island is a big place.
Long Island is very big. Contrary to what many Texans believe or think they know, because when I moved here for school, the question I got all the time was, "Is Long Island big?" I was like, "Yeah, I know you're in Texas, and Texas is big. It's called Long Island, first of all. They didn't call it kinda impressive island. Also, Long Island is about 8 times or 7 times.
That's what I'm gonna start calling it.
Yeah, It's a Surite island. It's about 7 times the size of